What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into tonight's baseball schedule. And it's the opening night, so I wasn't at first. I was thinking about just watching it, but it could be a little counterintuitive. So I want to run. And again, for anyone that's newer that hasn't seen my, hasn't seen my system, the rig system, hasn't seen the old channel, which got shut down obviously because we were doing what we're doing here, and I went over on that channel in the beginning of this channel when we started this back up on December. I went over how the system I used was actually founded and originated, at least in the sports wagering sector. I've noticed it was for baseball. I noticed it first, so I had never seen it used in a sports betting. It's like the Martingale variation that I use, and sure enough, the guy that did the system. He did it a little different than me, of course, but I took most of my inspiration from him, and he did it with baseball exclusively. He literally played 3 months out of the year. He ran it, he'd run it up 5 figures, and then he would just come back the next year and post on the forum. One year he just, didn't grace people with his presence, which is fine. But yeah, it was interesting. This guy just did it consistently, the same way we do. So he did baseball, like I said. His essential, what he did was looked at teams that he just did not see getting swept. Now, he wasn't accounting for Vegas rigging games, and he wasn't accounting for it being scripted. So I feel like we do have those huge benefits where if we see a shady line, it's going to help. That being said, game one of the year is just, in my opinion, it's a complete crapshoot. Even some of them where you have top stars, the aces pitching, top aces like Shohei Ohtani, all these guys, you really just don't know. You'll have guys come out and get no run support, and all these things. So a lot of this is going to come down to metrics, lines, and as we get 5-10 games into the season, because don't forget, with a longer season, we can't wait until a team's 0-2 against the spread and say, okay, let's start taking them. Or a team's 2-0, okay, we're going to start fading them. It doesn't work. They have to be at least, like I say, about 10 games into the season before we can even start thinking about just using only that metric. So that being said, you can see our gains. I'm not going to bore you with every single one and every matchup. I don't know why Nola might not get run support. I just have a feeling. These type of things I can't really go into. We can go into the career matchups and that kind of stuff. It doesn't really tell us much, in my opinion. Even the ones that give us substantial statistics, I don't think they really help us, because again, they very often, and you have a team that hits really well against pitcher and the opposite happens. Just like other sports, they don't want to pay people out. So again, we're not with baseball. It's a little trickier because we don't want to take Braves minus 260, but then we don't want to take the Nats just because it's the Nats. So we want to save our games for ones that we do believe they're not going to be complete sweeps and they'll have good value. So that's why I'm not playing everyone. Now that being said, I do like the Nationals in this particular game. Public's, I think, going to, a team like the Braves is going to get a lot of public money, in my opinion. There's no reason they shouldn't. And the Nationals just aren't a great team. So, it's the first game. That could be a, quote, lock for somebody in their parlay. All right, bam, I got the Braves, and then they hit a 4. So, I think, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I like the Nationals. Now, I'm going to go into something else here because the money line versus the spread, because again, on some of these, taking the spread just doesn't work. So here are my plays. I think I'm playing 7 tonight. And like I said, I'm not going to bore you guys with, I got to kind of just pump these out basically, because now we got basketball and baseball going on, which is fine. But again, also with baseball, I don't see the narratives and stuff as much. Game 1, you're playing teams in 3-4 game series. I don't see the narrative. So that's another reason I handle baseball a little differently. It's going to be very, very mathematical, you'll see with baseball, even more so than the other ones. So here are the plays I like, okay? I don't even know what FAU covers when they play San Diego State, but I like them. Okay, so in case I forget to put that out, I like them to cover/win, whatever one pays better. I just think the underdog story makes sense for them. Now, going into this, I like the Red Sox here for the cover. Again, I looked at the line, I looked at the odds. I like the plus 160, and again, I just tried to balance the Sox minus 1.5 versus the Orioles money line and plus 1.5, just to feel like which one I thought had a better gauge. And I like this one. I like this cover. Or -1.5 here. They're at home. I feel like that makes people not want to take a team as much, to cover the 1.5, because obviously you bat at the bottom of the inning, which means a 1-run game, equivalent to the empty netter issue in hockey. You could run into that. But I think there's going to be a lot of covers this year. I don't know why. I just do. Cubs, I like them to win. I think that one's just an interesting one. Brewers made the playoffs last year. Looked pretty good, in my opinion. And, again, I know Stroman's going. I don't buy too much into the pitchers unless it's, pretty crazy as far as... I know in my Discord, guy Hutch, he's always commenting really insightful things. And he had gone over... And I give him much more credence than myself because he follows these really well. And he had gone over the Cubs, and he liked them as a play. Actually, another guy, Trey, he liked the Cubs as well. But Hutch went into why, and I thought it was cool, and I appreciate it from everybody. But I appreciate it. Basically, I think it was just looking at the 1-run games, yeah. And essentially with Burns looking on at home versus the road, we have a better shot of maybe catching the upset. So basically just from historical matchups. And like I said, I don't particularly love the matchups, but I can say he's brought a lot of things to my attention based off officiating, matchups, things like that, and they've come through. So it made me like it more when he likes it, Trey likes it. So like I said, you guys are going to be helping me a lot because people on the Discord, a lot of them we're kind of aligning for different reasons, and I always like it when that happens. We usually hit pretty good. Next, I like the Rays for the cover. Some of them, again, I don't think I saw McClanahan have a bad game last year. So some pitchers I do feel like they're going to just establish as, unhittable essentially. And they seem to do that with the Rays more than almost any other team. So I just have a feeling that's going to happen. And then I got the Rangers beating the Phillies. I don't like the -130. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm not just going to take every cover as well because, again, that kind of defeats our purpose of saying a team won't get swept, because now they can get swept, or we can lose, and if they just win two of the games by a run. So I really try and balance it, but yeah, I wasn't gonna just take the -1.5 on this one just to take it. I took them to win because I don't know, maybe it's just something I definitely remember Nola seemingly losing a lot of 2-1, 3-2 type games last year. So that's the reason I like just the Rangers to win the game, and the cover has me a little sketchy. And then Reds, I do like the cover because I feel like if they're going to win, they might cover anyway. I know it's stupid logic, but again, I feel like the public's probably just going to fade them because they didn't. Not that the Pirates had a great year, but I know the Reds started off abysmally. They kind of got something going, but still finished pretty terrible. So, and I think they're trying to establish. I think Hunter Green's going for them, and I think they're trying to establish him. So I like that one. I like the A's to cover the Angels. This one might look crazy. This is also even, just so you know. The reason I like this is, again, Ohtani, I really feel like they're going to come out. They got an over-under at 6. I really think he's going to come out and just pitch a 2-1 game or something like that. So I really like the A's here on the cover. And lastly, I like the Guardians to beat the Mariners. Again, I think they're going to be pretty strong this year. And in Seattle, I looked at tomorrow's game, and Seattle's a pretty big favorite. So I also look at that as well. If tomorrow looks like they're definitely not going to win, then I just feel like it stands to reason there's a better chance they win tonight. Again, not that sweeps can happen, but I just try and look at the ones that I don't think will happen. And again, we're going to lose sweeps just like we lost 3-leggers. And that brings me to my second point. That's all the system is. We're just plugging in leg twos. So if Red Sox, don't cover here, we're literally just picking them tomorrow, leg two. So baseball's the most simplified version of the system. The only difference is obviously balancing money lines. When we got -130, we got to pay a little more. Now the good thing is you can see we got +120, +161, +153, +110. So that's basically even. But you get my point. We're going to have pluses as well. So like hockey, even though hockey I haven't picked negative odds yet, with baseball signs you just don't have a choice. So that's the reason I did go ahead and just take the Rangers to win. And then for the, because I'm not playing them, but if you want to just if you see this and it's like a 1-0 game or a 0-0 game, these two, I was leaning Nationals. If I was going, like I said, well, you should be able to get it in live, yeah. So, like I said, that's the reason I didn't type this one. I do like the Nationals, like I said, but yeah, I forgot it was one. So you go if you want to lock this one. Like I said, you'll get better odds now, and I don't think a run if they get this run across in the first means that much anyway. So yeah, I think it actually might have better value if the Braves go up here for the Nationals, but that's completely up to you. Like I said, the 1 o'clock games, I knew we were kind of cutting it close with, but I figured we'd get them out for the rest of the games. Not the rest of them, but a good chunk of the rest of them. Like I said, I'm playing 7 of these. And for this Giants-Yankees one, if I absolutely had to, it would be Giants cover. Now, just sometimes when the game starts, they'll change it to money line only. I just like the cover. I thought it made sense, and it had about even odds on it. So I just wanted to go into that. But yeah, as far as the other games, I don't think there's nothing too complicated. And I just didn't want to rush out these two because, again, I think someone put it best, we're kind of playing blind right now. So I don't see the reason to just rush every game. That's why I didn't play every one. We're just going to see how it goes, see how we do. And I think we do really well because I've seen this baseball particularly succeed. But we're going to start off slow and not play 15 games at once. Like I said, it's a little different with baseball. So if you want to, like I said, for some reason, like the Nats here, and I liked the Giants to cover. If you want to just take them both live, you can. But as far as official plays, yeah, these ones. And I'll be going into tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll probably play White Sox, Astros. Tomorrow we'll probably play Mets, Marlins, ones that we haven't played today, Twins, Royals. So we'll just kind of jump on the ones that, again, we think a team is definitely not getting swept. So again, a lot of this is, I don't want to say as we go, but a lot of the baseball is essentially like that. We're kind of playing it one day at a time versus the other sports where so much can change. The tiniest thing can change everything. Here, you don't really get much of that. So yeah, I hope you guys, again, I know baseball's not going to be the most fun, but I know a lot of people have been looking forward to it. And these are teams, just by the way, that we are going to be taking leg to no matter what if they lose. Okay, we don't switch it to the other team. Now, if they win, we're good. And you could switch to the other team if they win and pick the other team won't get swept. I've never actually seen that done. We could do that, but again, at the end of the day, it's just about playing our odds, playing a 3-game series and the odds that we're not going to get swept. And we're going to win 7 series, and we actually are playing exactly 7 tonight. So tonight might be a perfect example. We're going to win 7 for every one that, we lose a 3-legger. So, no, I know I went into a lot there, but since I'm incorporating a new sport, I just wanted to kind of show people my rhyme and reason to it. So take care and